What's up, Eric? We are back for Do That But Better, and it is a cool, rainy, dreary day, and that is why my hair looks wet.
Spending a lot of time outside in the rain.
Yeah, actually, I did just finish a workout, and I was really not wanting to do it. But
Yep,
I got it
that
in.
happened.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like this time of year, it's it's I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if it's the end of the year, but it starts to get just really difficult to want to even like progress. You're like, should I not? But yeah.
Yep,
How are things by
totally.
you? Sunny and 60?
It will be, yeah, I think. But, I think this was maybe our first morning below freezing.
Oh wow.
And Tuesday mornings, I go to our men's group, which is a half mile away. So I've been running, and yeah, today I really felt like maybe I should drive. I couldn't find my hat. Like, oh, my ears will be cold, my head will be cold. You can't risk that. I might get sick.
Yeah.
There were a lot
I-
of reasons in my head to not run there.
In those 4 minutes that
Yep,
it
I
takes.
know. Exactly. That's exactly. I looked at my phone when I left. I'm like, all right, how long is this gonna take? Under 4 minutes. Easy. Like,
Yeah.
suck it up. And I mean, it was below freezing, but I did not need gloves. I did not need a hat. Like it felt good for running.
Yeah. Speaking
But
of,
the
I
voice in
just
my head wanted to say, no, why don't you drive one block that way?
we just did a workout with a run yesterday, and you had 800, 400, and 200, and I got that 800 in 2:45.
That's cruising.
So that's not too bad. I felt pretty good
Yeah.
about that. Haven't really ran in a while, and like I said, I recently, and I don't know, so got multiple things going on, right? Just running the gym, trying to be helpful at home with the kids. Like um, we have parent teachers conferences this week. We have a concert tonight. I'm trying to get this building ready, and it's absolutely stressing me out. And it is really hard to go, hey, I'm gonna go run really hard on an 800 meter, and then let's do 400, let's do 200, Or today we had a 20-minute EMOM, and squats and burpees, and it's like I don't necessarily want to,
Hmm.
but it's like get it in. And actually, I was thinking about doing the workout today as air squats, and now we had it at 95 pounds. I warmed up, got to 65, and I was like, you know what? This is totally enough for me. And let me tell you something. If you're doing 10 squats, 10 burpees every minute for 20 minutes, that's 100 squats, 100 burpees. And if you do it at body weight, fitness is still going to be obtained.
Yep.
And I think that that's a really hard thing for me to come to terms with, because it's like, well, I've done this before, I've done that before, I've squatted more weight, I've squatted faster, I've done my burpees faster, or whatever it is. And it's like, is it worth it? And I'll tell you
Right.
what, you can probably even ask my wife that when I get a good workout in, and actually, I won't even say a good workout. When I get a workout in, I feel better. I'm a little bit happier. I can think a little bit better. And there's more benefits to the exercise than there is to progressing my back squat.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there are benefits beyond your progressive overload or, the 3 month program that you're going through.
Hmm.
Like there are daily benefits. Same thing. There have been times when Lisa has sent me out to do a workout.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It really, I mean, so it changes your mood, it changes your outlook on things, and I also feel like it's almost it's just accomplishing something that day,
Hmm.
and keeping to a routine, and routine is so huge, and I feel like this time of year, the year is winding down, and there's also a lot of stuff about to happen. It's like, we talked about this the other day. It just Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, whatever. It's like absolutely everything. And it gets a little bit overwhelming. And the first thing that we usually do is go, I'm going to take this thing that's been really helping me out. Actually, I just talked to somebody the other day, and they said, when I work out in the morning, everything goes better. And I wrote it down, and I told them that they should write this down too, because it is so true. And I get caught up in, was it good enough? Was that a workout? You know?
Yep.
And uh, I remember, and I think you were doing this too, doing the CrossFit warm up, 10 pull ups, 10 dips, 10 sit up, like 10 GHD sit ups, 10 back extensions, 10 overhead squats with PVC, and a Samson stretch. And you can do it 3 times or 15 minutes, right? And one of the ongoing, I guess, like inside CrossFit jokes was, our workout or our warm up is your workout. And
Hmm.
yeah, you look at that 3 times through that, you got 30 pull ups, 30 dips, 30 sit ups, all these things. And if you do that, and you set a clock that you can't work any more than 15 minutes, right? You are like, if you walk away from that, fitness is obtained.
Yep.
If you can do 30 pull-ups every day, it's, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's way
Yep.
more
And
than good.
well, and like you're even again, like aside from long-term fitness, like your day is going to be better. You
Yeah.
have you've already elevated your heart rate, right? Like you've gotten a sweat going, you are awake, like your
Yeah.
mind is clear, you're ready to go. And you're going to, like you said, you're going to have a better day. Physiologically, you'll be in a better mood. Period.
Hmm.
Like your body, your brain is happier because you moved and sweated and breathed a little harder to start the
Yep.
day.
Yeah. And you can choose, like, say that you did something like that, and it doesn't have to be that could be even too much for you, right? But if you do that, um, so just actually just think, so we're doing 30 pull-ups a day as a challenge this month. It's 930 pull-ups that you're going to do, right? If you did 10 overhead squats with a piece of PVC every single day, right? You got 300 squats that you did
Hmm.
over a month. Not only are you, like you said, you're going to feel good, you like feel good mentally, physically, but you can also, you can choose how you want to do this. Do you want to do them fast? Right? Do you want to do it slow and take up all the time, and hey, you only do 10 in this 15 minutes? Great, right? And fitness is obtained, and I stole that from Pat Sherwood. And I'll tell you what, like, I absolutely love it. It's so simple and basic that, because fitness is, it's not a destination. It's something that you choose to do every day, right?
Hmm.
I choose what's going in my mouth every day. I choose what I'm going to do. Am I going to take 5 minutes and do some squats? You were for a long time, especially during COVID, you had the 1 minute workouts where
Oh, yeah.
what was it, 1 minute an hour?
Yep. So at the top of every hour, you just do 1 minute of something.
And now you have 8 minutes of work, which, if you've done CrossFit, 8 minutes can be a really long time. Now you get to string it out, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be intense or anything like that. But you get a lot of work done in those 8 minutes. And guess what? You don't have to put on workout clothes. You don't have to get all sweaty. And now you're setting up your day to be a success, and you're probably feeling great all day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I love doing that.
Yeah.
You, and you will be sore.
Oh
If
yeah.
you do 1 minute max effort push-ups
Mm.
8 times throughout the day, I mean, you think like, okay, whew, done, got a whole hour to rest. By the end of the day, you are smoked. You are done.
Do you know how many you were getting in that? Because I mean, yeah, I mean you can get
I was
at
usually trying to get close to 50.
okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say we were doing Tabata we did Tabata push-ups the other day and getting like you could get 40 or so in that
Hmm.
20 seconds and or maybe it was 30 seconds. I can't remember what we were doing. But but yeah, you could get it in that time frame. So I was like, man, a minute. But strangely enough, in that 20 or 30 seconds, your productivity decreases exponentially
Oh
after
yeah.
30 seconds. It's like,
Yep.
all right, that was, I gave it all and now I'm done. I'll get three in the next 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, but
But
yeah,
yeah, it's
I
great.
mean, you
And
can really
I
rack those
mean,
up.
I would do it with all kinds of stuff. I think a favorite a lot of people contacted me was I called them towel presses, where you just use a towel or a band and you pull it apart above your head and then
Hmm.
press up and down behind your
Yeah.
head, and your shoulders feel so good.
Oh, I bet.
You do
I like that.
that for a minute each every hour throughout the day. Like, I mean, the simplest things,
Right.
but are going to improve your shoulder mobility and again, just get you moving, make you feel awake and happy
Right.
and active.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, this is like depression season,
Yep.
and so yes, you could blame it on the holidays and things like that, but also guess what? There's less sun, right?
Yep.
I mean, so I've read now this was from Maxim magazine in like 1993, but that I'm gonna take it as truth. But they said that like the Chicagoland area has like 110 like sunny days a year, and I don't remember if it was like is that a clear day, is that partially
Hmm.
cloudy, whatever. But dude, we don't get sun, and now I mean, if it's raining, snowing, and all those other things, it can be freaking depressing, right?
Hmm.
And so just getting your body moving and feeling good. I mean, the way that you feel after a small workout, or even if you're just productive, when you start feeling productive, you like you just feel better. You like you're skipping out of your office and you're like, I just got all this stuff done. How many? I'll tell you what. Like, just think about and I think that this is one of the greatest things about CrossFit. People always talked about how do you know a CrossFitter because they always talk about CrossFit and all that kind of stuff. But it was because you felt accomplished, right?
Yep.
And number one, when you miss your workout, you often feel like crap. You're like, I
Hmm.
should have done it, right? Or if you had goals and you're not getting it, you're like, I want to get to this thing, right? But when you go out and you're like, I did 21:15.9 with thrusters and pull-ups, right? And you want to tell somebody, it really puts you in a great mood. And it also, I think it gives you confidence to do other things.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is something like I've worked with a lot of people who struggle with anxiety and depression,
Hmm.
and that comes up constantly because you have the ups and downs, and when they're in the downs, like it feels like you just want to lay in bed, you just want to stay
Yeah.
on the couch. Like I just feel so crappy. I don't want to do that. And then the conversation is always, when do you feel the best? When I get up early and do my workout and get moving or go for a walk, when I eat better. I'm like, okay, so when we hit those low points, you have to remember, like, how are we going to keep that top of mind that I'm feeling crappy to make myself feel good? These are the things, and
Yeah.
just start checking them off. Even if you feel crappy, you don't have to do, you know, a workout RX and go as hard as you can. Go for a walk around the block.
Yeah.
And then maybe you grab a dumbbell or a band. You're like,
Right.
okay, well, I could do like a couple more minutes. And it builds from there.
Yep. I remember John North always talking about in weightlifting, uh, Donnie Schenkel would tell him that I don't care about your max, right? We have to establish minimums. And so uh, you only hit a max once, right? It's not like you're walking into the gym every day doing your max. It's like, no, you build for a very long time, and then all of a sudden you have this test. And I remember my the one of the first people that I really started heavy lifting with, Danny Cordetti, right? He's like, dude, when you hit a max, everything matters. He's like, if the fan's on too high, right, and it's pushing that barbell down on your chest because you're bench pressing, he's like, it's like I'm telling that guy to turn that thing off because I need my sleep, I need my, I want everything. I want a great lift off, and you don't do that all the time. And it's very easy to start to want to hit PRs all the time. But you also have to look at, all right, what are the conditions right now? And was this the best condition for it? But if I hit those minimums, when you come, what is the least amount of weight that you can hit when you walk into the gym anytime, right?
Hmm.
And we did a challenge a long time ago with push-ups, and our challenge was to find the minimum that you could do anytime, and you could do this however you want. It could be on your knees, it could be an elevated push-up, it could be a planked push-up, whatever you want. But if I put a gun to your head right now and said, how many push-ups can you do, you could do it, right? So it might be 3, it might be 7, whatever. And you had to do it when you walked into the gym. So people were walking in and pulling up, doing push-ups, and you had to do it before you left. So you could do it when you're cold, you could do it when you're tired,
Hmm.
right? And it didn't matter what number you had. Everyone smashed their pull-ups by the end of or their push-ups by the end of the month. And it was just because they found a minimum. This is the minimum that I'm going to do every day.
Hmm.
And they continuously did it. And I think that this is huge, and it doesn't have to be with exercise. This could be with anything. Like what are the things that really make you feel good, or that are going to make you progress? And um, actually, I was just on a Zoom call yesterday with one of my mentors, and he was saying, he's like, you got to do the work. If you want results, you got to do the work. And um, could you do 1 hour of work every day, right? For five days a week, right? And now you can even break that down and go, all right, some days you have 2 hours, go ahead, do 2 hours, but get
Hmm.
five hours of work a week, and you're going to be making progress. And it's like, if you do that, you will be successful, right? And it's
Yep.
like, man, that seems so easy. And how many hours have you spent worrying? How many hours have you spent doing, being on social media or looking at emails that are worthless instead of just doing it, or even like putting off the workout, right? And it's
Waiting,
like,
holding the remote, like I'm gonna start that timer any
yeah,
minute. I'm gonna start that timer. But wait, oh, I better go check over here. Wait, where's my chalk?
but yeah, like you said, sometimes you just got to start it. And maybe if you're looking at it exercise wise, you don't even you don't even start the clock, you just start working, right? And
Yep.
if you are a member of a gym, it's like, just show up.
Yep.
If you walk into that door, you're getting it done, I promise. And you might not get it done the way that you wanted to, but you got it done, and that it's so important.
Yep. Yeah. So really, all of these things, like you said, any part of life, um, it's establishing, giving some thought to what are those minimums every day or every week that I need to do to progress, to feel my best, to perform at my best, in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
And those things, I know, make them, like we said, they don't have to be crazy. They don't have to be huge. I know one guy I was working with wanted to journal. I think I've mentioned this before. He wanted to write every day.
Hmm.
And he wasn't doing it. I'm like, well, okay, how much do you want to write? What do you want to write? It's like, well, I thought like a paragraph, like, is it a page? And he said a paragraph. I'm like, well, why not one sentence?
Yeah.
If one sentence is your minimum, that's way less daunting. It's a lot easier to open the notebook than when it's like, oh, I don't have time to write a whole paragraph. Like, I got to get kids to school, like, whatever. But when it's one sentence and you're like, okay, write down anything you want, any sentence, and then odds are you're going to write more than one
Yeah.
from that, you know? So give yourself those minimums that like, okay, like you said with the push ups, I know I can do this every day, easy.
Yeah.
Whether, like I said, journaling, if it's those push ups or squats, jumping jacks, burpees, eating one whole carrot every day,
Don't
like
eat carrots.
drinking.
We already talked about this. Don't eat carrots.
Josie loves carrots. She's
She's
4 years
wrong.
old, and she says, "Dad, I'll like be making lunch. Can I have a whole carrot?"
Ah,
Okay.
like you're grounded. You're grounded for asking. But
Uh,
yeah, you're right. And like you said, I think that breaking it down into buckets, like what bucket am I trying to fill today? And you go, all right, um, family, business or work, right? And health, fitness, and whatever other buckets you might have, you go, all right, what do I need to do daily? What do I need to do weekly? What do I need to do monthly? One of the things that Natalie and I have been doing this year is we have a date night scheduled every month. And so we did that in January. We scheduled them all out. We've had to change maybe like two, right? And we're already what, 10 months 10 months in.
yeah,
We only got two left. I mean, so and we've been able to do it, but we took a look at those buckets and we're like, hey, these are the things that we want to do. We did it with travel too. Like, hey, I want to take this many trips this year. And now you can start putting it on the calendar. And I think that it's so important, and I fail on this all the time. Um, I like to think that you can tell how my life is going when you look at my car. And when my car starts to just pile up with stuff, and actually everything in my life. So my backpack, like it's like there's like papers and all kinds of things, and then I have like a reset, and that's I sort of have these seasons where it's like everything's killing me and it's piling up, and then you go stop, and I got to reset. But you can tell by my car. Actually, I just cleaned up my office, and because my office was insane. Because number one, I don't use it very much, but then it's like, all right, I'm just gonna put this here for later, and I'll be back. And it's like I'm not coming back, and you know that everything is dropping on the sides, and so we all need to continuously like what is it called, audit our goals.
hmm
And we've talked about this before, that like number one is writing those down. Do I even know which buckets I'm actually trying to fill? Do I know what I'm trying to do with these buckets? And then am I doing it? And it's okay if you screw that up, right? It's going to happen. Just like, hey, I missed the gym today. And then you go, ah, crap. But if we don't have this plan and we just go, man, January 1st is coming up, I'm giving up, you know,
yeah, coast.
then man, in the next 2 months, like you can do a lot of damage for everything, or you just have missed opportunities.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned your car because I was just talking with a client the other day about cleaning your room.
Hmm.
That's like one of their things. They've cleaned up a ton of stuff throughout their house, and they have one room, and it is just like murder for them to clean that room up. And we were talking like, is your cluttered room making your mind cluttered, or is your cluttered mind producing a cluttered room?
Mm.
And
Which
I think it goes both ways.
I was gonna
Sometimes,
say, I feel like they're
Yeah, like it is a chicken or the egg. It
Yeah,
can work both ways. And like you said, like there's a point, you get to a point where you're like, this has to change. And cleaning up your room makes it definitely relieves anxiety, right?
yeah,
It's like one less thing to think about and it's a win,
right.
right? And that shows up in all different aspects of your life, like those things that you start to let go, which is why you need to establish those minimums of like, you know, this is the limit. It cannot go below this.
Yeah.
It cannot get messier than this.
Yeah, I've heard that there's only two reasons that you actually make a change, and like one is that you are like like the physical pain, right? So it's actually so painful that you have to make a change, um, or you just like you might just have like so yeah, like motivation or like something like there's some intrinsic motivation for it, but lots of times it is that, hey, I got far enough. It's like I hit rock bottom. And the
Hmm.
funny thing is that there's rock bottom for everybody, and it's going to be different, right?
Hmm.
And I like to think, so for me, like I stopped drinking because I felt like I hit a rock bottom, right? And now the thing is, it wasn't like I wasn't losing money. I didn't lose houses. I didn't lose all these things. But there was just a lot of things that it was like that was enough, and it was like, all right, I'm done.
Hmm.
And so like it ends up being the same thing as my car. It's like, oh crap, I literally can't put anybody else in this car. And I hold the guise of, well, those are tools and I'm doing a bunch of work. It's like I'm not doing it right now. So but yeah, like finding what is, and like you said, it's that minimum.
Hmm.
And find your goals, write that down, find out what are the things that we need to be progressing, so that you know uh yeah, just so that we know that we're getting the work that we need, so we can audit it. Because if you don't have it specific, right, then it's
Right.
like, well, I'm trying to do this thing. It's like, how are you
Yeah.
doing it? Did you do
Yeah,
that? Yes,
exactly.
no.
I'm trying in my head when I think about it,
Yeah.
but I only think about it when I don't have an opportunity to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And so really, I was just thinking that schools all just hit their fall break. So you can't say that, oh, well, it's the transition from summer into school, like we're still getting organized. Like, no, we're past that point now.
Yeah, we,
Now
we
it's
even
time to
we
dial it
even did
in.
an episode on
Yeah. Yeah, right.
that so long ago.
Yep. And so now, especially with holidays and stuff coming up, pick one. What's one area that you want to dial in, that you want to clean up your room?
Right.
And establish what's my minimum going to be from now on. Who am I? That's really what it comes down to. What kind of person am I in this area of my life? I'm the kind of person who always does this amount,
Yes.
and just work on that one thing. Make it a habit, make it routine, and then move on to the next.
Yeah. And it is okay if you don't feel that you're that person yet, or that you ever want to be. So actually, I was just talking to somebody, and we were talking sort of similar about um, about getting 3 days in a week, right? And like going to the gym. And right now, their work is very busy, and things are just sort of all over the place, right? And we talked about, can you go to a 5:15 class? And it's like, I'm not really a morning person. And that's true. And actually, I've even told people, stop coming in the morning. You do so much better in the evening. Like, you know, and so you should know that about yourself, that hey, this isn't my optimal, but can I do it? Especially, I need to do this to be the person that I want to be.
Hmm.
And it's not an always thing. Just think about this. Um, I think that when it comes to fitness, people will go, I don't like to do this, I don't like to do that, right? And then there's also the complaint that I'm not getting the results that I want, right? And now if your boss says, I want you to come in at 5:15, guess what you do? You go in, whether you like it or not,
Yep.
right? And you are your own boss, right? When it comes to fulfilling the buckets that you decide to fill up, and you have to find out the way to do it. Now, you might find some other way. Hey, maybe it's not going to the gym. Maybe it's waking up early and doing something at home, right? But it's you are in charge of that, and you can start dialing in. How can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so good time right now to start just auditing how things are going, right? We've got a few months to the end of the year, and uh, I think that most people like to have like to look back on their year and go, all right, where did I make progress? Where do I want to make progress again? And so right now, finish the race, right?
Yep.
And so keep going. Find a minimum. It doesn't matter what that is, and and make sure that you're able to audit it continuously.
Right. And remember, like that minimum is what's going to get you through the holidays without gaining 20 pounds,
Absolutely.
without losing everything that you've worked on through the whole year, is
Yep.
establishing that minimum, um, regardless of what day it is, or, oh, it's Thanksgiving week. So,
Yep. Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving,
yep.
you all of them. But yeah, well, awesome. You guys, we will see you next week, 11:30 for Do That But Better. I'm Zach,
I'm Eric.
and we will see you again.
Cool. See ya.